Hey there viewers, it's Charlie. I'm back again with another Transformers review. And today's review is going to be on Legacy, Wreck and Rule Collection, Spindle, and Impactor. Now, the Wreck and Rule Collection is basically the same as the Siege and Kingdom 2 packs, where if you have the boxes, you can pretty much just put them together, and the box art pretty much just creates a diorama. So yeah, if you remember like the I can't really get it on camera, but like the G2's Sideswipe and Slam Dance, if you combine that with like the Skywarp, which is pretty much impossible to get for a good price nowadays, it created a really cool like diorama. Well, Legacy's pretty much doing the same thing. So if we just take a look at the box, we can pretty much just see right off the bat. Got a picture of Impactor and Spindle here. Well, comic universe Impactor, because this is pretty much just Marvel Comics Impactor. Got Spindle here, which is pretty much just the retool of Paleotrex. And we can see right up off to the side what looks to be, well, that looks to be the leg of another fossilizer. Foreshadowing. Well, I don't have that one yet, but I'll definitely review that one when I get it, but, well, just moving on. This side, we've got the Autobot artwork. The other side, we've got the Decepticon artwork. The back, we've got Impactor and Spindle in both modes. And of course, Spindle's a fossilizer. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the box. Although, this box does actually include something else. You get this little piece, which is meant to be part of a hammer. So yeah, collecting all of the Wreck and Roll figures pretty much lets you build a hammer. So that's pretty cool. And once I get all these figures, we'll see the finished hammer. Well, that's pretty much it for the box. Let's take a look at the figures. Now, of course, these two are pretty much retools of Kingdom Paleotrex and Siege Impactor. And well, let's start off with Spindle, seeing how she's the most interesting out of the two. I mean, of course, this looks to be just a fossilized Spinosaurus, if I get my dinosaurs correct. And well, if I can get it standing correctly, because this mold can be sort of tricky to stand. They've actually done some pretty heavy retooling from the Paleotrex molds. I mean, for one, they've retooled the little, I can't remember what that section was called, but they've retooled it and added this little section here, which Spinosauruses tend to have. Scorn, for example. The skull has been retooled. The arms have been retooled. And the chest plate has been retooled. So yeah. Now having a 360, we can pretty much just see how they've retooled this figure. And I'm pretty sure, like with my Paleotrex review, I actually had the legs transformed wrong. I had the legs still attached onto here, whereas I'm fairly certain it meant to plug into here. So yeah, I finally got that corrected. Now, let's take a look at that skull. That's pretty cool. And of course, just like with Paleotrex, it does have the robot head, although it does transform in a different way. And of course it can open. In fact, let's just take a look at the posability for this. So yeah, it can open its mouth. So if you want it to roar, even though it's meant to be like undead, I guess. The arms can of course move. The tail can move. The legs can move, so if you want that to happen, like, she can move like this. They can go outwards, so she can do like fossil splits. Pretty much, it's the same as the robot mode articulation. Plus, if you want the claws to also close like this, you can do that. So yeah, pretty much the same articulation as Paleotrex. And well, that's pretty much it for Spindle. Overall, I quite like her in her beast mode. Although, yeah, getting her to stand can be kind of tricky because, yeah, she can be a bit wobbly. Plus, my copy does have an issue which we'll get to in robot mode. Or maybe even the transformation of it shows the issue there. But for now, let's move on to Impactor. Now, of course, this is just a siege figure. Although there are some bits of retooling. Mainly, this bit has been retooled. This cannon section's been retooled. And well, it's just been redecoed to look more like how he looked in the actual Marvel comics. And if anything, he looks more like how he did in the back of the Siege packaging, which I'm not going to show because it's just going to take a bit of time. But we're taking a look at the vehicle mode here. I kind of like the colors in this more than the Siege version. But there is a visible gap here, which is probably just... Yeah, I don't think that's my doing, but... Yeah, one thing I don't think I noted in the Siege review, there's a visible gap here. Well, I guess this is meant to be a Cybertronian vehicle, so if you want to look past that because it's Cybertronian, then I guess go ahead. But, yeah. Yeah, pretty much the same as the Siege version, aside from the retooled cannon and the retooled what's going to be the chest plate. So yeah, not really much to talk about here. So let's move on to the accessory, which of course is his harpoon. Again, pretty much the same as the Siege version, although I think... Hang on, just quickly... Yeah, the Legacy version's now got some more shiny paint, which is pretty cool. And of course, seeing how this is the Siege version, let's get a small blast effect. This can of course take a blast effect. So if you want this going on, then there you go. Or if you want to repurpose these little ports on the side as little blast effect ports, then go ahead. But yeah, that's pretty much it for Impactor. It's pretty much the Siege version with some retooling, and he looks more like the comic version of the character. But yeah, I do kind of wish we got some more comic exclusive characters, because like G-Axis is a really good figure. The Blur retool was really nice, and this is quite nice looking as well. Kind of makes me hope that we get like a Thunderwing at some point, because I think we're long overdue. Like the last one was like what, 10 years ago maybe, as of the time of recording. I'm not counting that Titan Master. But yeah, small tangent aside, that's pretty much it for these two in their vehicle mode. Well, not alternate mode, because of course this is not a vehicle. Well, let's move on to comparisons. So, here's Spindle with Paleotrax. And well, I'll try to get Paleotrax standing, pretty much see my point. There we go. So you can pretty much see that they sort of changed the kind of dinosaur that, well, the kind of fossil that Spindle is, because Paleotrax was meant to be like a Velociraptor, I'm pretty sure. Whereas Spindle, as I said, is meant to be a Spinosaurus. But you can also see the retooling. Yeah, Spindle's got this bit, Paleotrax doesn't, Paleotrax has this, Spindle doesn't. Although this does kind of create a flaw that Paleotrax doesn't have. If you remember, this section plugs into here, just to make it a bit more stable. Well, with this retooling, these ports are no longer used. So if anything, this bit's sort of more easy to untab. So yeah, sort of an added flaw there, but oh well. And well, here she is with Skelovore, the Dark Energon version that was included with the Megatron spoiler pack. Not really much to say, it's pretty much just... Because keep in mind, this is just the Dark Energon Paleotrax. And no, I don't have Transmutate. Yeah, I probably should get that, actually. But well, moving on to Impactor. Here he is with the Siege version. So you can pretty much see the retooling and the recoloring that they did. So you can see, well, this is more flat on the Siege version. It's more, well, it's more of a... I can't remember what this shape's called, a trapezoid shape on the Legacy version. The colors are more muted on the Legacy version. A few bits that were colored yellow on the Siege version that are now purple on the Legacy version. Namely, these joints here, and these bits here, which I think kind of looks better on the Legacy version. Plus, the cannon section has just been fully retooled. Why? This can now come off. I don't know why it can come off. Maybe so you can replace it with a blast effect. I don't know. If anything, when it's removed, it just looks like a yellow ice lolly or something. I don't know. But on the Siege version, it's just attached on there. It doesn't come off. Plus some more added purple detailing here. There's no battle damage. The treads are white instead of black. There's a Wrecker symbol instead of an Autobot symbol. So yeah, that's pretty much it for all the differences. And well, that's pretty much it for the alt modes. So let's get onto the transformations. Now, for transformation, well, let's start with Spindle. Now, of course, seeing how this is a retool of Paleotrax, pretty much what we're going to do is just tear the shreds. So we're just gonna take off the chest plate, take off the little rib cage with the arms, take off the legs, and in fact, let's stop there. Well, take off the... Yeah, continue taking off the legs first, I mean. So to start, we're just gonna straighten these out. Move these back. And these will form heels. Rotate these around. Move these down. Plug these in. Move these off to the side. And we pretty much have the legs done already, which is pretty cool. Come in here. Continue just tearing this apart. And what we're going to do is just move this down. Move the lower jaw down. Move the head down. And yeah, this is sort of different from Paleotrax because, well, with that molding, the entire head was the backpack, whereas with this, it's just the lower jaw of the fossil that just plugs in like so. And we're gonna leave this bit up right now because I sort of wanted to do a head reveal, kind of like with Paleotrax. Plug in the chest thing, which, to be honest, that kind of looks like some Mouse Daisy and Crash Bandicoot. That's probably just me, but that's what it looks like to me. I swear that looks like something you see in Crash Bandicoot. Just combine these. Well, close up the claw. Spin this around. Plug this in. That forms an arm. And I suppose I should just get this out of the way. On my copy of Spindle, the mushroom joint just falls off extremely easily. I mean, on my Paleotrax, the mushroom joint does sometimes fall off, but it's not that often. Whereas on Spindle, if you look at it funny, the mushroom joint just falls off. That's probably just a QC issue, and it's not on everyone's copy, but it's still really annoying. So you just plug in the arm, and that lays down the figure. So it just counts that balance. We're just going to transform the other arm. You just do the same like so. Get the mushroom joint off again. At least these bits don't move about when you try to plug it in on this copy, because that was the issue with my Paleotrax. We'll leave this off to the side for now. Unfortunately, I don't see a place to plug it in like there was with... Oh, in fact, it actually is! You can actually plug it into the lower jaw. I just discovered that. So if you don't want Spindle holding this weapon, you can plug it into the back. Whereas with Paleotrax, it plugs into his shoulder, which I'll show later. And if you want, you can just leave this up, because it sort of looks like a mutant mask, kind of like what the Beast Wars figures did. Although I'm pretty sure this is sort of not official, because I don't see this in the instructions. So you just move that back, and here we have Spindle in robot mode. So yeah. And well, for Impactor, yeah, just showing off you can do this if you want. But now, moving on to Impactor, it's pretty much just the same as the Siege figure. So just get the feet unpegged like so. Spin around the back treads to the front. Spin around the feet like so. Plug in the waist. Split the legs. And now you've got a tank girl walk. Split the arms. Take this gun off, which, yeah, it's parts forming, but it is weapons parts forming. Move this bit down. Spin around the hands. Spin this section around. Open up the back. Lift up the head. Close this back up. Spin the head around. And there you go. We'll give these two their weapons later. But for now, here we have Spindle and Impactor in their robot modes. And right off the bat, Spindle is showing off a weakness. Just like with Paleotrex, it can be kind of hard to get her to stand just because the feet are kind of small and there's not really any good ankle pivots. The best you've got are, like, up here, and that's not really that useful. Whereas with Impactor, he's got these really big, I guess, boots. So he's not going to have any trouble standing. But, well, let's start off with Spindle. Now, from the lower half, she does look like a retool of Paleotrex, but from the upper half, they've done a lot of retooling. I mean, they switched around the shoulders, which we'll see with the comparison. The head's been entirely retooled. The chest plate's been retooled. Seriously, this is definitely a heavy retooling. Oh, we can see that she's got quite the, I guess, hairdo with this sticking out. I mean, she's literally posed like this when it box, just because I don't think it would fit either way. As shown, you can just put the weapon on her back if you don't want her holding it. Looking at the head, of course, it's a fossilizer head. That's all I have to say. But if you want, you kind of lift this up and kind of looks like she's got a mask on, kind of like what Paleotrex does. Although this doesn't reference anything in particular, unlike with Paleotrex, where his mutant mask, I'll call it, pretty much references Primal's mace. So yeah. Now, if we give Spindle her weapon, of course it's pretty much Paleotrex's weapon, and I can already feel the mushroom joint trying to give up on me. There we go, I managed to keep it in. So yeah. Yeah, not really much to say. It's pretty much just a heavily retooled Paleotrex. Currently, I mean, there's no places for blast effects unless you move these down. And even then, it's sort of... So yeah, let's just move on to Impactor. So Impactor, as his, I guess, prefix on the box states, is meant to be from the comic universe. Or in this case, the Marvel comic universe. So he's pretty much just... He's been retooled to look how he looked in the comics. Yeah, not really much to say. It's pretty much just a Siege figure, just with a bit of retooling. But still, I kind of like the colors more than the Siege version. The only thing is, I'm not really a big fan of the head. I know that's how his head looked in comics, but I kind of prefer the Siege head. If you had the Siege head, I think it would be a perfect figure for me. I don't know. Now, why this guy had a comic universe prefix and Blur didn't, even though that's clearly the IDW Blur, I don't know. Well, giving this guy his weapons, well, of course, you can just hold his gun. And you can hold the harpoon if you want, but come on. We all know this is supposed to actually replace his hand. And if we can just get the correct blast effects out. Now that looks cool. And in fact, with this being a Siege figure, he of course has the actual blast bumps, I guess. So you can just plug some into the shoulders, or even onto the legs. And seeing how this guy pretty much always dies, it kind of fits. And unlike with Spindle, this guy actually does have ports on the feet. Of course, they're meant to be for like weaponizers and the like, although, of course, laser feet all the way. So yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say for these two. Don't worry, I'm not ending the review yet. I'm pretty much just saying which one I prefer so far out of these two, and I think I'm liking Impactor a bit more. He just feels more solid. He just looks a bit cooler, in my opinion. Like, Spindle is cool looking, although she just like seeing how she's a fossilized, like bits just come off. Sometimes bits that are not meant to come off. And well, yeah, she just feels a bit fragile, seeing how she's a fossilizer. So I think for me, I kind of prefer Impactor after these two. Now for the posability, so if I just unplug the weapon. Well, for Spindle, her head can of course go side to side. The arms can of course move. This one's got a little bit of a bicep swivel here. In fact, they both do. It's just that this one's more pronounced of this bit here. They've got elbows. You can, of course, T-pose. Her hands can open. And if the mushroom droid doesn't give up on you, she can move her hands. She's got a waist joint. Legs can go forward that far, back that far. She can do the splits. She can swivel. She's got knees. She can, I guess, do this. And that's pretty much it for Spindle. Now for Impactor, we're going to give him his normal right hand for this. Well, he can turn his head. Of course, he can move his arms. Of course, he can T-pose. Got bicep swivel, he's got elbows. Hands don't rotate, but they can go inwards. Sort of got a waist swivel, although it's more like a chest swivel. Thanks to the transformation, he's got an ab crunch. Or you can make it look like he's sitting. Always again, I'm going to break that. You can kick forward, you can kick back. You can do the splits on a, and that's on a ratchet, which is really nice. Sort of got he sort of got a pivot there. It's got knees and it's going to swivel. So yeah. Now, quickly, just before the main thing that I want to show. Here's Spindle with paleo tracks. So you can sort of see the differences. And of course, the differences are mainly with the upper section. I mean, for one, the shoulders are switched around, which is actually meant to be the official transformation. Of course, the heads are different. And the chest sections are different. And I'm just going to keep that in the actual video because that was actually kind of funny. Although the feet and the hands seem to just be the same, from what I can tell. And here's Skelevor. Pretty much just a purple paleo tracks. So yeah, not really much to say. And here's Impactor. Once again, the purples and yellows are different shades. The head's different. Again, I kind of prefer the Siege head. But I do prefer the colors on the Legacy version. So yeah. Now, of course, Spindle is a fossilizer, which means she can come apart and form weapons and the like for other figures. I think you know where this is going, so let's just go ahead and do it. Now, the loadout seen in the instructions is pretty much the same as one of the loadouts for Paleotrek, so... And seeing how this video is getting kind of long, let's just go ahead and do that off camera. And here it is. Now, if you've seen my Paleotrix review, I mean, it's like a year old at this point, so it's pretty crappy, but if you've seen the Paleotrix loadout, then this should come as no shock, but still. So we've got a backpack with claws, a shield, this thing, I don't know, this thing made from the skull, and this big club, I don't know. But yeah, this is just hilarious. Seriously, like, this is why the fossilizers are just really funny. Like, you just have the actual bot dressed in, like, dinosaur bones. This is why the fossilizers are one of the best things that happened to Transformers. And well, I think I'm just gonna end it here. So, complaints with both Spindle and Impactor. Pretty much the same things that I had to say with Paleotrex and Siege Impactor. So Impactor's still got the little hollow legs that I didn't mention in this review. Spindle's got like the hard to stand legs. She's also now got the mushroom pegs that don't even stay in that well. It's kind of hard to plug in the little axe if you're doing the little loadout thing. But overall, I recommend these two? Well, if you're not a fan of parts formers, then well, maybe not, because these two do parts form in some capacity. Impactor because, well, his gun does have to come off for the transformation, remember? And Spindle because, I mean, come on, just look at her. Everything about her is parts forming, but that is the main gimmick of the fossilizers. So, but if you don't mind parts forming, or at least weapons parts forming, then these two are a really fun set, and I definitely am looking forward to getting the rest of the Wreck and Roll collection. Yeah, I am late to getting them, but still, it's definitely getting me excited to get the Leadfoot and the other fossilized. I can't remember his name, but the G2 Leadfoot. But yeah, this is a really good figure, and I definitely like Legacy Impactor more than Siege Impactor when it comes to the colors. If anything, I think I just like Legacy Impactor more than Siege Impactor overall. Well, this has been my review on Legacy Wreck and Roll Collection, Spindle and Impactor. And this is Charlie Young, signing off.